I want someone to film the behind the scenes of us filming, bro. That
Yeah,
would be sick.
yeah.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Behind the scenes of the behind the scenes.
Literally, dude. What do you want me to share? Just like my story? How I
Just
found the Elliott
ask him
Group?
whatever, man. Just
Yeah.
this is the video guy. Yeah, so just
Well,
maybe tell him a little bit about your story, how you like you were in a really dark place
yeah.
from what I understood. And I know you're battling with some things, and this man's very, very disciplined, like one of the most disciplined people that I know. And he's very young. He's only like 20 years old. 21.
21.
21. He looks like a grown ass man. But anyways, he's a beast. And anyways, he worked for actually one of our competitors, right? He moved across the country. This guy is like an action taker, very disciplined, and he's a magician.
Come on.
And when I say a magician, like I am not BSing you. Like he will do magic in front of you that will make you question everything. Like I was just like, oh my god.
They call me the Wizard. That's my
Yeah.
nickname at the Elliott Group, the Wizard.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
have any cards with you today, or anything? You can
Oh,
show?
I got some stuff in my backpack. Probably I can show
He
afterwards.
definitely has stuff with him.
Always, man. Can never leave the house without it.
Yeah,
You know what
when
I'm
we have
saying?
like events and stuff like that, we're like, Wizard, show him. Blow my customer's mind real fast.
Part of the experience.
Right.
Yeah, maybe just give them like a high level overview of like, where you're at and what got you to the Elliott Group and like how the Elliott Group changed your life and how you had impact. And
Well, I always like to say the Elliott Group didn't just change my life. The Elliott Group saved my life because I was in a really, really dark place. Michael was just kind of talking about it before, where I grew up in an environment where I was the black sheep. And so nobody understood what I was going through. Nobody thought like we thought, right? I didn't know that the Elliott Group existed. I didn't know there were people that were wanting to chase a greater life for themselves, that wanted to improve their lives. And I was 17 years old at the time when I started going down this path, 16, 17 years old. And so I didn't have any resources to go out on my own. I was still living at home, still in school, going every single day to an environment where people just didn't understand me. And it drove me to this really dark spot where I became completely isolated from everybody that I knew. I lost all of my friends, had zero relationship with my family while I'm living in their house. I went weeks, even months, without talking to my parents as a 16-year-old kid while living at home. And I almost didn't graduate high school. They almost kicked me out and made me have to get my GED. And it got to a point where they put me on antidepressants, which were brain altering drugs. That didn't work. And so, of course, they upped the dosage, made me take even more, which made everything worse. Right. And it got to a point where I was literally found in high school making plans to take my own life and hang myself. And now I'm proud to talk about it because it's my story and it's my testimony, right? But at the time, it's not an easy thing to go through, and it's because you don't realize that a world like this, with people like Michael, with people like myself, like Andy, like everybody in the Elliott Group, that exists. And so fast forward, I went to an event in Las Vegas, a networking event, and I had met Austin Laudette, one of the other coaches here at the Elliott Group, and I saw him wearing the Elliott shirt. And the first night I saw him, I lost him in the crowd and I was beating myself up. I was like, I can't believe I just lost my opportunity to talk to someone from the Elliott Group. Fast forward the next day, the whole event takes place from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I'm just beating myself up the whole time. The event gets done. We start leaving and there's 7,000 people at this event. 7,000. So they let everybody out, and we're in a stadium, and we're walking literally shoulder to shoulder. That's how crowded it is. You can't move. Out of the corner of my eye, I happen to see across the room one more person wearing an Elliott Group shirt. I said to myself, dude, I am not missing my opportunity again. I ran up to him. His name's Jimmy Lee, and I completely interrupted his conversation. And I didn't want to be rude, but I'm like, dude, I'm not missing my opportunity. And I got to talking with him, and I talked with Austin. Austin pulled me aside. He was speaking with a lady that was running a $600 million empire. $600 million. And he shut that conversation down and said, sorry, I have to go talk with this 18-year-old kid because he looks sad. Right? And then Austin brought me to the corner of the room. He poured into me for like an hour, just going through all these different things that I had in my head and the trauma in my past. By the end of that conversation, guys, I was in tears. I was literally crying on the floor. That same day, I paid him 10 grand to come out to an event, a 2-day event with Andy Elliott and David Goggins. And by the way, guys, I didn't just have 10 grand sitting in the bank account. Like that was money that I had saved up to pay for my rent, for my food, for groceries, for bills. That's money that I'd saved up to live. I basically traded 6 months of living to go to a 2-day event to bet on myself that I'd never been to before, by the way. Never did anything with Andy before that. and I sent it instantly. I actually had to use like 2 or 3 different credit cards because I had like a bank limit. They wouldn't even let me send over the money, right? But I was just so all
Found
in.
a way, not an excuse.
I found a way, dude. And you know what? I was having trouble in there, and I was like, I remember telling Austin like, it's 10 grand, man. That's a lot of money. But you know what he said to me? He's like, if you spend this 10,000 and it changes your entire life, money included, and then it turns into 100 grand, 200 grand, would you say that's a worthwhile trade? And I was like, dang, dude, I never even thought about it like that. And guess what? Fast forward, I went to the event. Within the first minute of me being there, I got every penny's worth. I still have the text messages of me texting Austin before the event started. So he actually had me come out a day early because I didn't have any money, and I slept on the floor of his house on an air mattress because I couldn't even afford a hotel. And literally the day before, he introduced me to the team. He introduced me to the twins. I told Evan Macklin a really short version of my story. He's like, damn, dude, I love that. I want you to share it on stage with the team. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Because these were people I idolized, right? These were people I looked up to my whole life, man. And so I got on stage. I shared it with the team. They threw me in a YouTube video, which was insane. And then the whole team just started treating me like family. And the next day, the event starts. Everybody's checking in. They're getting their badges. They're scanning. I didn't even need to. They were like, Evan, you're good, man. Come in, bro. You're a part of the family. And I was blown away. They treated me like I've been part of the company for years. And that changed my whole life. I went back and forth asking for a job with Evan Macklin. He said no because they didn't know me well enough at first, which I understand, right? And so, long story short, I went back home. And I was back and forth. We were getting a job. Didn't work out. So I then moved to Florida to go work for Grant Cardone. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't know.
All right.
You go work for a competitor, right, for Grant Cardone.
Yeah, Grant Cardone.
And when I was there, I was going through a really tough time because I lost all of my drive. I lost all my motivation. After the event, I was fired up within a week of this event. Within 1 week, I went back home. I quit my job. I moved out of my environment that I'd been in my whole life and moved to Florida. I didn't have a place to stay, didn't have a car, didn't know anybody. And I did this all a week after the event with no plan.
Jesus.
Because I knew I was just committed to making a change. And so I did that. I moved to Florida, but I felt lost because I had nothing driving me anymore because I finally got out of the environment I've been trying to get away from for so long. And then here's the cool part that I don't even think you know that most people don't know. I sat down with myself one day with a pen and a paper, and I'm just going to keep it short because I'm kind of going off a little long here. Sat down with a pen and paper. I said, what's going to drive me to do well here? And I said, I'm going to be number one at Grant Cardone so that I could take the results and go to the Elliott Group and say, hey, look, I was number one here. I want you guys to give me a shot. 2 days after I had made that decision, I got a message from the Elliott Group saying, we've never done this before. We're never going to do it again. On this one day, we're having an in-person hiring event. If you make it here, we'll give you an interview in person. Long story short, I flew out here. I came for the interview. They saw me in a new light and a new perspective. And thank God I got the job, picked up a week later, 2 weeks later, moved everything that I had in my car, drove across the country for 3 days, 36 hours, 10 hours a day. And I came out here to Arizona to be with Andy, be part of the team, be with my boy Mikey.
Let's get it.
And so to all of you guys out there that are like debating and you're wanting this new life and you're thinking like, oh, you want to change, you got to take action. There's so many people that were in the same shoes that I was, that are in the same position, that when it comes time to cut the check, put their money where their mouth is, both physically and metaphorically, they back out. They let all the reasons stand in the way. Guys, I had every single reason not to go all in on myself. But I chose to ignore those excuses because I knew what was on the other side of it. And by the way, I did all of this as a 19-year-old kid. So for those of you saying you're too young or you're too old, like it's too late for you, dude, you're completely wrong. You are completely wrong. I promise you, your whole life can change in 6 months because mine did. And by the way, when I got here, I lost 50 pounds. I cut my long hair. I used to look like Tarzan, right? Yeah. Made more money than I knew what to do with. I fixed my relationship with my family. Every bucket of my life is better than it's ever been. And it's because I took action on myself. Wow. So that's a little bit of my story.
It's a powerful story.
Quick.
Thank you, bro.
Can you put your Instagram
Yeah,
up?
for sure.
Just put a story up.
Yeah, put it in there.
And then you guys can continue.
Well, I was going to say, Evan, like most people, like they, for them to invest 10 grand on themselves, a lot of people, they are like, oh, they think that they know what the Elliott Group has to offer because maybe they've seen like a video in the past and, maybe someone didn't represent the company the way that it was supposed to be represented. Like, what do you feel like you got out of that 10 grand besides like meeting the team, besides like coming down here? Like, what like breakthroughs did you have? Because I mean, your whole life changed, right?
Yeah.
But was there like any, I mean, I know it was a while ago, But is there anything that you could think of that you're like, hey man, like this is what I was missing? Because me, I don't need much. Like I could spend money and I could learn like one or two things and I could really just like go an inch wide and a mile deep.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what are some of the things that you learned? And like, why would you encourage someone to invest 10 grand in themselves? And not even say that you have to pay 10 grand. Like we have stuff that starts off at like $100 and it goes up to 2 million. It just depends on what you wanted to do.
Well, for me, it was less about the tactics, right? There's some people out there that want a tactic, want something, like you said, that they can go an inch wide and a mile deep with. For me, I needed to change up here. I needed to change my mindset, my identity. And so for me, being around people that were thinking like this, that cared about their fitness, cared about their health, that wanted a better life, that pushed for greatness all day, every day, I didn't know that that existed. I thought I was crazy, right? And here's the thing about being a black sheep amongst white sheep. If you stay in that environment long enough, you start to question yourself and you start to really ask, well, is there really just something wrong with me? And that's the point that I got to. But coming here, I realized, no, it's not me. I'm just in the wrong environment. Right. If you take an oak tree seed and you put it in a 2-foot pot, that seed will never grow to become the tree that it's capable of. And nothing wrong with the seed, but it got stifled by the environment. And so for me, it was getting out of that 2-foot pot into a place where I can grow to become the tree that I am today. And so when I got to the event, after I left, my identity of how I saw myself, the human that was looking back at me in the mirror, was a completely different human than before coming here. And just having that level of belief in myself, of confidence in myself, of conviction in who I am and what I want to do in my life, I knew that I was on the right path. And for me, that changed everything else in my life because nothing else matters. There's a lot of people out there that go out, they make a lot of money, they don't like who they are in the mirror, they don't like themselves, their kids don't look up to them, they don't have a good relationship. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to fix me. I wanted to fix the man. And when I did that, everything else followed. And so for me, it literally changed who I was as a human. It rewired my brain, rewired my thinking. And for me, that's worth $1 million cash.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to get your brain washed. You know what I mean? Sometimes your brain needs a good cleaning. So when people are like, "Hey, he's brainwashed," I'm like, "Yeah, I am brainwashed." You know what I mean? I clean the way that I think, the way that I saw myself, the way that I see others, the way that I treat people. You know, because how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Literally, and when you say the word brainwashing, like that term, people confuse it and they think that it's a negative thing, but it's absolutely not. I would rather be brainwashed into believing something, even if it's not true, if believing that thing makes me a better human.
Yeah.
Right? Most people think that they're going to be brainwashed to become a worse human, or they let that change their behavior in a negative way. I always knew that even if I were to just start thinking like these people, and it makes me in better shape, it makes me have a closer relationship with God, it makes me treat other humans properly, right? That would always be a good thing. And so I came in with that kind of mentality, with that attitude, and I did that. And then guess what? All the other areas of my life, it raised as well to match that standard. And so if you're even halfway on the 5-yard line of making an investment into yourself and freaking changing your life, do it. Do it now. Don't wait. Don't think. The longer you wait, the longer it's going to take for you to have that breakthrough. Guys, I'm 21 years old. I am the second to youngest person Andy's ever brought onto this team, ever. That doesn't happen. Andy doesn't hire teenagers. I'm here because I took more action than people that are double, triple our age. Age is not an excuse. You'll find a way to make the money. You have an uncle, you have a mom, you have a cousin. Borrow $100 from somebody. I don't care. Just do something. If you take action, everything in your life will change.
Tell these people how to get a hold of you.
Guys, follow me on my Instagram at RealEvanNussbaum. Shoot me a DM. Let me know you watch this. Be like, hey, man, I loved your story. I got a free gift for all you guys watching this. We just had a cool restock of something. So I'll send you guys something super cool. Just send me a quick message on social media, on Instagram, and I'll DM you guys. Let's go.
Let's go. Good shit, bro.
Let's go, dog. Ripped it. Hell yeah, bro. I feel like a content creator, dude.
Yeah, shut out the dome.
No, you say that.
No script.
You say that all the time too. Like on those, like on the videos, is like just being here helps people. So
yeah,
like getting a real story from Evan and like how he was able to really see that too. Like
it just shifts your lens, you know. Because sometimes you see things in one way your whole life, and you know things are good by comparison, and you think that you're doing good because like you don't know what you don't know, and you come here and you see like, hey man, there's a whole different standard in the way that people roll and operate and carry themselves, and it's definition of human excellence. And we're definitely not like, no one's perfect here at the Elliott Group. We're all struggling with things. We're human beings. We all go through different things in seasons of our life, but you know, we're always worried about self-correcting. And Andy always says, who could ever self-correct the fastest will be forever wealthy.
Sure.
And that's one thing that we pride ourselves in, you know? So sometimes you got to like you got to come in and step into our world to really experience it. And so a lot of people will sit here and they say all these things because they think they see us online, or they think they know Andy because they watched a 15-30 second clip or a minute clip. But when they come here, you know, and they're in here and they're person, it's not something that you can like really explain. It's something that you have to feel. And yeah, you could hear it in our voice and you know, in our tone and stuff. But like when you come down here, it's where the magic happens.
Yeah, I always like to say it's like the difference between Googling a picture of the Grand Canyon versus standing in the mountains, right? Like it's not the same. You can't describe what it feels like. And people see the videos on social media, they see the hype, the workouts, they think, oh, that's cool. But when you're actually here and you're immersed in that environment in real time, it literally rewires how your brain functions. And it forces you to become a better person. And the best way to become the person that you want to be is to get around people that give you no other choice except to become that guy. That's what I did. That's why I bet on myself. And guess what? I became that person. Guys, make it easy to do the hard things and hard to do the easy things. If you want to change your life, get around people that give you no choice but to change your life.
That was a bar.
Simple as that.
You need to put that on a shirt.
Come on, dog. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, thank you, bro.
Hell yeah,
Appreciate you,
bro.
Wizard.
No, that was sick.